This is the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with us.
Oh my god, my back is soaking. Just cooling myself down.
What's the issue?
Warm.
What's the intro?
Welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. I am Trevor Webb, and this week it's a little bit different because I'm looking at you right there, people at home. But there is a man.
Gross.
And that man is Gavin, right? Gavin, right? What the fuck are you doing in my house?
Don't know, I just woke up here. I don't have much memory of last night, but I woke up here.
Oh,
What am I doing in your house?
I wondered the same. But he's here, and we're going to be doing this little podcast together. Oh, touch me.
Don't want to actually touch you.
Oh, we've already touched.
Oh yeah.
I mean, last night there was quite a lot of touching.
I don't recall.
Fair enough. Didn't happen then. So, why are we here, in all seriousness?
Why are we here?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Like talk about film.
What film?
Salaam Bombay.
You're just going to come out with it?
You said what film? That would be the answer to what film.
We've never done this in the same room before.
I've never met him before.
We're talking over each other already. That's going to be fun for the edit. Maybe it'll be easier for the edit. Maybe I can just literally just put the two screens up and then there you go. No editing. I don't know what this week's film is. Should we go to the person who chose it?
If you want.
And he can tell us.
Go on then.
Cool. This week's film was chosen by a man that Gavin knows, don't you? So he's got a story about him. Go.
Oh, story. Oh, what ones can I legally say? No, I haven't got any legal ones.
We'll say something illegal that didn't actually happen.
Does the UK have statute of limitations? Or is that an American thing? I only ever hear it in American shows.
No idea. But if you state that it's not true before you say it,
Okay.
it's not true, then it's fine.
I once saw him put a dead pheasant in a washing machine of an old people's home. That one's all right, isn't it?
You sure you want to go with that one?
Yeah. Why? What's wrong with that one?
Well, I mean, because it's made up nothing. But, I mean, if that was true, that would be horrendous.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
What's wrong?
You've got dead pheasant, first of all. That's probably going to offend some people. There'll be some people out there.
It was already dead.
Right.
We didn't kill it. Yeah, I was with him. I didn't put it in there. I was saying, stop, don't do that. But he did it. But we didn't kill it. Good people. Go on, next thing wrong with it.
Well, then you've got, how did he get into this old people's home?
The window was open.
Right. And then why did you put it in a washing machine?
Because the window was right near the washing machine. Hardly went in. We he kind of leant over and just put it in, probably, if it happened, just into the washing machine.
If it happened. I thought we stated that it didn't happen.
I don't know. I don't know if it happened. I want you to keep that in. I demand it.
Well, let's cut to him, and then you people at home can make up your own minds whether you think this poor innocent man that Gavin is slandering would do such a thing. I don't think he would. I've met the chap. He's lovely. He's a nice guy.
I've seen his video that he's sent in, and I do believe there's a skull in the background, and he's got his face covered like some sort of criminal.
Well, should we cut to Satinder?
Let's see what he has to say.
To Satinder.
One thing I know he won't like is his full name being. He's very private about online.
Is he?
He'd be all right with Sat.
To Sat.
Hello, Cool Kids Club subscribers. This is like the 20th take for this introduction, as I have to keep pouring more funny down my throat. Anyway, the film that I've picked is Salaam Bombay by Meera Nair. It's an independent Indian film. A lot of Indian cinema is obviously Bollywood, which is very mainstream, and a lot of people laugh at it. And this is something I'm very proud of, being of Indian descent. It's a story of street kids in slums, and it's pretty brutal and very down to the life they live. All, I think, from what I gather, especially the main cast of the street kids are actual street kids. Meera paid handsomely to the street kid, who's the main actor, to get him out of the slums. And after the film was made, and he ended up back on the slums. He didn't ascend from the poverty that you see in the film. The rest of her films are just as good and worth a watch. Have a look at this film. It's probably not the norm for Cool Kids Club, but it's a film I've been trying to get this bumper Clark Gavin to watch for a long time, and he doesn't watch it. Enjoy, and yes, watch it.
I think he did it.
Yeah, he looks a wrong end, doesn't he?
Fuck. I was really hoping that'd be he would like convince us. He'd like come out with a puppy or something.
No, I saw him with a puppy once. He twisted its head off.
Oh, we're getting sued. This will be the last episode of the Cool Kids Film Club podcast.
He knows he couldn't sue me. The real stories would come out.
Oh my god. So the film is Salaam Bombay from 1988. Do you want to tell us anything about it, Gavin, director, or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm ready to butcher names.
Do it.
So Salaam Bombay, directed by Meera Nair, and it is about a young boy called Krishna, or Chapao. We'll go with Krishna, who, after being accused of stealing some money off his brother, is now living on the streets, and just it's about his life and others attempting to get by on the streets of Bombay.
Yeah. Did he steal it from his? Well, did he apparently steal from his brother? I was unclear about that. I knew there was some kind of theft.
It said a couple of times that his brother accused. It might have been from his mother, but his brother accused him.
I was
wrongly.
under the impression that his brother had actually stolen it, but he got the blame for it.
Yeah, you could be right.
So yeah, his family left him. Was it at the circus as well? Like, I didn't quite understand that. I think there's a reference to a circus at some point. But he is asked to go get some masala, and he ran to the shops really fast. He ran fast. That shot, I thought, was sped up, running through the thing.
I don't recall it.
And then when he comes back, everyone's gone.
Yep. And he's a street kid from then on.
He is. He goes to... Why does he go to Bombay?
He just asks to go to the nearest big city, doesn't he? That was what he asks. So I guess he's already got the idea, I suppose, of making the money back. And he probably thinks he's going to make it in the big city or nearest big city easier than whatever little city he's at or little town.
Yeah. One thing because he knows where his family are, because he wants to give them money to return it. And later on in the film, he sends a letter to it. So he knows where they are. Why not just go there? I mean, is it just because you know you're going to be turned away, I guess?
His parents, or his mother at least, I don't know about his father, have just left him. So I don't think his first thought is, I'll just go back.
That'd probably be my fault, but I do, I understand that it wouldn't end well. If they've left you there, they're not going to be... Like, you're a dog, you've been left in the field. Your first impulse is to return home.
Well,
many dogs do that.
Dogs are stupid and awful, aren't they? So
am I. Not awful. I'm lovely, but I am stupid.
He's probably got a good enough knowledge of his mother to whether she would take him back or not. And it seems clear that he knows he's not going to get taken back unless he brings that money.
500 rupees. I don't know if we discussed...
Rupees or ruples? Rupees.
Rupees.
Yeah. Ruples is Russian, isn't it?
Don't know. So he goes to Bombay, and was there some kind of time jump forwards from this point? Because the first thing we say, he's in there and he's got a job as a tea boy, and there seems to be some kind of time pass.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think, you've got that one shot of, I think it's when he just gets there with the beggar running after him, chasing him about. But yeah, then I think you just go forward a bit. I don't think the film's so interested in showing you how he gets his job and everything. Just wants to establish he's got a job now and he's living on the streets.
He is, with a group of other children. And we should say at this point, it's quite integral, not to the story, but to the film as a whole. Part of its charm, part of its appeal. I believe Sat brought it up actually in his video, but these kids were actual street kids, cast by the director, who does that a lot in her work with other films as well. And she's made something for the BBC, some 6-part thing. Can't remember what it's called now, about a boy or something. And she's just cast regular people off the streets.
I had not heard of that. I did see that I'd heard of the kids in this were, but not that she'd done anything new.
Yes.
I know they were given a bit of training. I know that much. They were
sent
to drama school for a little bit.
Yeah, but they were told specifically not to act. So Bollywood films or movies from India in general, the style of films was something that... What's the director's name? Mira or Nira?
Nair, Nair.
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 That's her last name.
Yeah.
What's her first name?
Oh, Mira, yeah.
Yeah, Mira. So Mira wanted to get away we're on first name basis, just so you know, me and Mira.
Because you can't say the second name.
No, just because we're really close.
Okay.
So she wanted to get away from that traditional Indian movie. And she told the street kids who were in the film, this will be a film, but it'll be more realistic, more a film about you and your lives than it is your usual film that you see in the cinema. We don't want you to overact. We want you to act natural. Yeah.
Sure. Which actually, there was a couple of moments, I was going to bring it up later because it's the very final scene that kind of reminded me of it, but there's a few times that it kind of reminded me of This Is England, and I guess that kind of natural approach is what Shane Meadows was going for in that film as well.
Been a while since I've seen This Is England. Good film, though.
And series. All of the shows were good as well.
I haven't seen those.
Well, you should.
So he's a tea boy. Have you ever thought about starting a career as a tea boy?
I don't like tea.
What's wrong with tea?
Oh, shit. It's not my bag at all. I'm a coffee man. I don't like that very much.
I hate coffee.
I have to put a bit of syrup in it to make it taste not like coffee anymore.
I don't even like cafe caramel lattes or any of that fancy stuff. It still tastes too much like coffee to me.
They're all right. I like them.
Tea is where it's at. People watching at home, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
All the tea boys out there.
Yeah, but I was a tea boy when I was younger.
Right.
Growing up in Munford, I used to run around the streets just selling tea to people.
Oh, really? Any good stories? Did you live on the streets?
I didn't live on the streets, but I used to pretend I did because you got more custom.
Okay.
But yeah, you just walk around with cold tea saying, hey, do you want some tea? And people would say, no, fuck off. But then you'd be like, I'm homeless. So they'd give you £1.
All right. Very good.
No, I used to buy drugs with that money. It was only 5.
Yeah. So, yeah. Krishna, he's selling the old tea. Where does he go with it? He goes to a brothel at one point.
He does. That's because he sees the car driving past with, what's her name? Sola, I think.
Uh-huh.
The young lady who is beaten and dragged into the brothel, and he follows her inside. What did you think of this scene and her introduction to the film?
Well, it's quite an introduction, isn't it? Although I thought it was quite rude when he gives her a cup of tea and she knocks it out of his hand and smashes the glass.
He's saving up all those rupees. And
Yeah, how rude of her.
I mean, if you were being force sold to a brothel, would you respect the tea and your situation and anyone around you?
If I liked tea, I'd probably need a good cup of tea in that situation.
What if you don't like tea, though? So
then I'd smack it into the kid's face.
No, I think, joking aside, she's well within her rights to smash that tea again. And I think she's in quite a dire situation.
Sure.
I don't think she's having a good day.
Is it ever said, like her backstory, where they get her from?
I don't think it is, no.
I mean, we find out that she's a virgin and that they're keeping her virginity to sell for 10,000 rupees. Rupees. The weird thing about all this is the strange integrity of the pimp and brothel owner. That that on one hand they're kidnapping and forcing a girl into prostitution, but on another they're very honest about their products, because they could easily just say she's a virgin.
Yeah, there's a line in the film where the lady states that she's honest and she doesn't missell.
I think she says the customer pays for a virgin, the customer will get a virgin.
Indeed.
Strange bit of integrity there.
Okay, well, my next note is about 21 minutes in when they're at the theatre. Have you got anything before that?
We see a little bit after the whole brothel scene. You see that Chapu does other jobs. He gets a job cleaning a chicken coop, and he steals a chick to take to Sola. And is it before the theatre that we are introduced to Chillum, where him and Chapu hang out in, is it a graveyard they go to? I thought it was a graveyard, but wasn't too sure, to do drugs.
I don't know where it was, but yeah. Chillum is the older boy that Chapu hangs out with. And he loves drugs, doesn't he? He's all about the drugs.
Yeah, the brown, he calls it. He sells it. He takes it. He lives by the drugs. He dies by the drugs.
You should say he sells it. He gets it from Baba, who I don't know if we have talked about yet or not. But he's like the local.
He's got his finger in many pies.
Yeah, he's a pimp, drug dealer, arsehole,
father.
Yeah, I suppose.
Husband.
Yeah, suppose.
Lover. Yeah,
he's probably a lover. I imagine he's a very good lover. There you go.
fair enough. I wouldn't saying he was a good lover.
No. And Baba is also asked to come in and tame Sola.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that role, what that involves?
I don't really know what it involves. I mean, he took her out somewhere, didn't he? And attempted to be a bit nice to her for a bit.
Yeah, to gain her favour. Had some pictures taken. I think his... See, I don't know how much of this is genuine and how much of it is his role or job, what he's being paid for, but he promises to take her out of it, but she has to behave.
Yeah, I mean, I feel we realise that's bullshit when we find out later on that he said the exact same things to his now wife, because they have that big argument about how he'd promised her that he'd take her out of this life and he hadn't.
He hadn't taken her out of life, but was that he intended to but then never did? Was the promises genuine at the time but then he just failed to do so? Or was it all just a lie? Because if it's a lie, why did he actually end up marrying
her? I imagine it's probably a lie to start with, and he must have fell for this girl because we see that he's got a bit of regret here and there, because there's a moment when what's the daughter's name? Manju goes missing. Well, not missing. She's picked up and taken to prison for a bit. And
not prison. I thought it was a prison. She's not really taken to a prison, I don't think. It's more of a child's refuge.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Baba goes to pick her up, he shows signs of being a normal human being. So I think it's within him. He's probably got elements of wanting to take them out of that life, but probably making him a lot of money is probably difficult to get out of that kind of situation.
So would you say that the character of Baba was like a grey area? Would you say he's a bad guy, good guy? Well, he's not a good guy. But would you say grey or bad?
He's a bad guy, but I think he's conflicted. I think in his head he probably doesn't want to be the bad guy. He probably does want to take everybody out of this life, but that's the street life. It's dragging you in, keeps you under.
I think you're giving him too much credit. I think he's a manipulative asshole that says stuff with no intention of doing it. And then when he fell for Rekka, he was already caught up in that lie. And so he just kind of strung her along with, oh, yeah, I'll do that, with no intent of doing it.
No, I don't think so. Because during that whole argument with his wife, he's not exactly fighting back. You can see he's almost looking inwards. He's got some regrets, I think. He probably did never intend to start with, but I think he's got a daughter now, and with his daughter being around all of this stuff, because he does attempt to have her away from it by sending her to sleep outside. I think he does want to get them out.
We should maybe bring this up. So the mother was a prostitute and still is a prostitute, but not working in the brothel. She's got her own thing going on. And the father, Baba, who you're saying is attempting to protect his child from it, doesn't do much protecting, as far as I could see. He goes out and does his thing and leaves the child with the mother whilst the mother is working.
No, I don't think there's much, but I think there's a small grain of it there. I'm trying to think what film I saw. Oh, Dark City I saw recently, where there was a prostitute who had a child and the woman was actually having sex with her clients with the child in the room. So at least he's sending her out.
A, that's wrong, but B, this isn't much better. Like, yes, they're in the next room, but like she's looking in through the window. Exactly.
As you said, it's not much better, which implies it is better.
Like minusculely better.
Yeah, but that's what we're discussing. If it was more overt, where he was like, right, your mother's working, I'm going to take you away, we're going to have fun and go to the Ferris wheel. Talking about that, did you see that tiny Ferris wheel at one point? It's literally about this high off the floor, like a little Ferris wheel you just see in one shot. I enjoyed that. Anyway, if you saw him being more overt, it just doesn't work with a character, does it? You've got to have these doubts in the character's mind be subtle, so that there's some discussion there, rather than, oh yeah, he does want the best for them deep down. Can't just be like, oh, here's a lollipop, let's go have a laugh.
I suppose. But I think by not doing the here's a lollipop, let's have a laugh, I think in that situation, you've got a prostitute and a child. Either you're going to separate the child from that situation completely and be the good guy, or you're going to have the child in the situation and be the bad guy. I don't think there's any middle ground.
Of course there's middle ground.
You're either the good guy or the bad guy in that situation.
You don't like subtlety, do you, in films? You'd like a big title card to come up saying, oh, what he means here is...
No, I mean, I like that we have differing opinions on this, and this is the conversation that we're having, I suppose. But in my eyes, if you have a child in that environment, you are a bad person.
He is a bad person.
So there's no middle ground.
There's a middle ground. He wants to be better. I think there's something deep down that he wants to be. I'm not saying that he is. Saying that it's a desire to get them out of that situation.
But it's not a hard thing to, surely.
Of course it's a hard thing to do.
What, to take a child to a park or something?
Oh, I thought you meant to get them out of that situation, full stop.
I'm not anti-prostitution here. If people want to prostitute, that's fine. Just don't do it whilst your kid's in the room or even outside.
I get that, but... like we said earlier, he's got his fingers in many pies. He's got shit to run, hasn't he?
Taking the child to a drug deal would be better for her than what she's actually witnessing.
I guess, but it's the thought, isn't it? He's not thinking too deep in it. He's just, I don't want her in there, and I do want to get them out. Or at least that's what I think is under the surface.
To be fair, well-written character, I think, because there is debate to be had. I think he's an asshole, but...
He's an arsehole for sure. That isn't under debate.
Okay. But no, I do agree to an extent that there are layers, but I think his layers are more... Oh, I wish I wasn't a selfish prick, but I am a selfish prick, and I'm not going to do anything to stop myself from being a selfish prick. I'll just occasionally regret it.
Yeah.
Can you think of an example in the film where he actually makes an effort to do something good?
I guess when he's taking Solar out, but that's for the greater bad.
He's being paid to do that, and he's manipulating her and lying to her.
He's quite nice to his kid when he meets her from the institution or whatever she's taken to.
Yeah, I'd say that's his only real moment where he actually, I can't remember what he does, but he gives her a toy or something, doesn't he?
I can't remember him giving anything, but he's talking about how her friends all miss her and are asking where she is. Do you see much of him after that?
I mean, there's a big scene with him, but we won't discuss right near the end. We'll bring up later.
Don't remember.
Do you not? Like the actual, pretty much final scene?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we've discussed him, we've discussed the wife and her occupation. There's a scene that we've skipped past, talking about all the other stuff. The theatre scene where the people in the background are all in blackface. Did you notice that?
In the background of the theatre or on the film in the film?
like in the theatre, like on stage, you have the main people singing and dancing, and you have like the backing dancers, and they pop up and they're all in blackface.
Oh, I missed that.
Mm. But this is 1988. Time is quite different. But
I can't think I've ever seen that in like Indian stuff before. I missed that.
maybe I exaggerate. It was only on the screen shortly.
I remember the scene well because the kid's dancing about and he gets slapped around the head by the guy behind him.
That kid stole that scene. He was
good. So, yep. He pops up a couple more times being quite, I was going to say outrageous. What's the term for it?
flamboyant.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was going for. Yeah.
When we watch films together, which we didn't with this one, we always say, "That's you, that is." And when I was watching it, I thought, "That's you, that is about you."
That'd been fine.
Yeah, no, he's a cool character. It's just,
Him.
just thought, yeah, that's you, that is.
Who would you be? You could be Chillum. No, I quite like Chillum when he wasn't high.
Hated Chillum. All right, this is a later note. All right. I've got a whole bit later on, which I'm just going to discuss now because I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. A little bit crazy. Empathy. I feel that's a subject that's brought up, well, not brought up in the film, but something that's, when watching a film like this, you feel. How empathetic were you towards Chillum?
Yeah, a little bit. He's obviously started off as a street kid. He says that he was even younger than Chapu when he got on the streets. And I think he's got good intentions with Chapu. I think he's wanting to take him under his wing. I mean, he does obviously take advantage of him, borrows money, never pays back. Well, he says borrows and he never pays back because he gives him some of his drugs. He doesn't have to. He obviously loves drugs.
He loves the drugs.
Yeah, so to give up some drugs, I think he cares about him. It's, I think he's another torn character. I think everybody wants to get off the streets, obviously, but he seems like he's a nice guy that has fallen onto hard times with the old drugs.
There were people I was very empathetic towards in the film. Sola being sold into the situation she's in. Chapu being left by his parents. The mother who's been lied to and led astray. The child, especially, who's in this situation, having to witness her mother doing shit and having a father who's a dick. The character of Chillum, I wouldn't say I was sad when he died. Because he dies later. He steals money from Chapu, the money he was saving up to go home. Steals that. He doesn't borrow it. He steals that money and buys a whole fuck ton of brown and overdoses, and he goes dead.
Talking about that stealing, that's Chapu's fault.
Yeah.
100%. So
I'll let you explain.
Chillum shows him where a safe place to keep cash, like behind this brick, hidden away. He knows that Chillum loves the drugs. He loves it. And he's always asking him for money. Yet when he gets quite a bit of money, what did he get that?
250 rupees from the tea job that he gets fired from. So he was saving it up, but he was keeping it with his employer.
Yes.
When he gets fired, he gives him the money that he'd been saving.
Yes, and he puts it in the hiding place that Chillum tells him about. I actually think that's probably the worst bit of the film, to be honest. It's stupid. I don't think even a child with that kind of knowledge would do that.
I agree on this. Where would you put it if you were him? I don't think he has another place.
Anywhere is better than that. That place where he put it is guaranteed to go. 100% guaranteed. I'd have rather put it in the middle of the street. Just there. There's less chance of it getting stolen.
I did make a note about how stupid that was, to be fair, yeah. But I don't know. He was naive. He believed his friend wouldn't do that to him. He knew how important it was for him to get. But yeah, it was. At that age, do you know the lows that a drug addict
Yes.
junkie would go to?
100% that kid. At that age, on the streets, well, maybe on the streets of Munford, but not on the streets I grew up on, you probably wouldn't. But living on the streets of India, you probably, and he'd been there a while by then. I think he's streetwise enough to know this guy who's a massive junkie who's asking me for money every time I ever see him is probably going to take this.
Yeah, it wasn't the smartest move.
Talking about things I had an issue with, going back a bit, what was the whole setting the place on fire about?
Oh, yeah. So this is where Shapu goes to visit Sola, and he's, let's get out of here. I'm going to rescue you. And for some reason, I'm going to set fire to the place on the way out. He does bring up a story of him setting fire to something else at a young age. So I think he's just a bit of an arsonist. I think that's his bag. But
it's also weird how cool with it. Well, they're not cool with it, but how, I mean, they don't do anything too bad to them, the pimp and the lady running the brothel.
no.
They shout out and they say they're going to kill him. But, I mean, I know they've got a lot of money invested in Solar, but the kids, there's no issue for them if they got rid of him. And they do mention, the police will come, but I get the impression the police aren't going to be too bothered about that kind of thing in the middle of, poor ridden Bombay.
Well, I don't know how much you know about the prostitution red light district areas of India and stuff, but it's suggested, I believe, that the police are aware of it, but they don't really do much to crack down on it anyway. But I suppose even if you're in that situation, you wouldn't want to draw attention to it.
I suppose. I mean, probably they're more worried about. I don't think they're worried about being shut down, more the police wanting money off them.
But yeah, he's doing that as a let's run away, but we're going to set fire to the place and literally send a smoke signal of our intentions. Is there anything else you've got?
The kids will rob somebody at one point, which is where I thought he got the bulk of his money from rather than that tea job. I know he got a load of money altogether, but I knew there was like one job he did that got a lot. And yeah, I think it's when he steals from the old man.
You're correct. So he gets fired from the tea job and he gets 250 rupees for that. And then he's talking to the rest of the street kids and they propose that he comes along on the robbery job. What did you think of this scene? I thought it was a bit strange.
It was all right. But I'll tell you one thing. It's not just this film. Every bloody film does it. And it's something, anytime I see it in a film, it annoys me. When somebody has something stuffed in their mouth so that they can't talk anymore, there is nothing you can stuff in your mouth without putting something over it that you can't just push out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, usually it's like a sock, just a sock in the mouth and that's it. They can't get it out. Imagine if you had no arm, someone put a sock in your mouth, but you'd have to live the rest of your life with a sock in your mouth. No, you can easily push it out. Always bothers me.
Well, yes. I also didn't like how easily overpowered this man was. Yes, he's an old man, but they don't gang up on him. It's one kid, brings him over, pushes him down on the thing, and then holds him down. And
he wasn't just an old man. Before, I didn't even realise he was going to get robbed. I was looking at him thinking, my God, look at his arms. There's nothing on him.
You don't think he could fight back against one child?
Nah.
I'm not so sure. But I found it a bit strange how easily overpowered he was. But coming back to your statement of the thing in his mouth, in films, what I hate as well is bags, because nobody ever attempts to bite a hole through the bag other than in one film. Do you know the film?
No. What do you mean when they're suffocating somebody with
Yeah.
a bag over their head?
I've always thought, why don't you just bite a hole in it? Your teeth are pretty sharp.
They are, but I mean, you can't pull back. You've got to go left and right.
Yeah, but it's like, I think you could. And in one film, a film I watched not too long ago, Terrifier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a girl is being suffocated and she just bites a hole through the bag, and so it doesn't work.
You try it. I bet that isn't easy. What? Because if it's being pulled tight around you, you haven't got any give there. I shouldn't cover my mouth as I talk. You haven't got any give to like get it because it's tight around your mouth.
We couldn't usually do this, ladies and gentlemen, but we're in the same room, so we're going to practice it. Should I get a bag and you can try and suffocate me?
Okay, let's go.
Gotta find an unbranded bag. Ladies and gentlemen, for your entertainment, we have Gavin right here with a carrier bag. There is a name on the bag. The other shops are available for your smothering goods.
I got my hands over the. It's all right.
Gavin just brought up off air about safe words. You can't really do a safe word if you're being suffocated. So the safe word, Gavin, is going to be a double tap with the hand.
Where?
Like your hand will be here, suffocating me. I'll go.
Okay.
That means stop killing me.
Right, you ready to die?
Yes.
What did you hear?
Come on, bite that hole. Come on, live. It's sucking in on my eye.
But you're out. Oh, he's out. There we go.
Boom. There you go. I think what we've learned here is don't panic. Yeah, close it. There you go.
Just bite through. Sorted it. What did you have to do? Like suck it in a bit?
Yeah, you suck it in, just bite, and then wiggle your teeth. And then when it starts getting loose, just poke your tongue through.
I bet you couldn't do it through this bag. This is a bag for life. That's just a bag for one off. So yeah, top tip: if you're going to suffocate someone, bag for life. Go for a 10p bag, not a 5p one.
Yeah. There was a point where it wasn't working at first. And I think a lot of people would panic in that situation. That's the thing. I think if you can stay calm.
Stay calm when you're being murdered. Top tip.
Yeah, seriously, because it worked in the end. There was a point where I didn't think it was going to work. And like the air actually started to escape because I could feel it getting tight around my eyeball. It was actually starting to go in here.
So close. Or I guess if you're the killer, if you're pulling up and get the hand around there as well, maybe.
No, I don't think that'd work. So you can still, you're grinding your teeth.
Smash their teeth out first.
That would probably work.
There you go. And he's an old man. He probably didn't have any.
Well, he wasn't being smart with a bag.
No, he wasn't. Where did that come up?
Just because you were saying about things
the
you hate and I said things I hate.
Right.
So he does that job and then he gets the money. Well, hey, he's got enough money. He's going to go home. And then we get that final scene, don't we? Happy ending.
Yep, he goes home. His mum's like, oh, brilliant. It's good to see you again.
I'm so sorry for kicking you out. I didn't want to. Your dad made me do it. And they rejoice.
Yep.
And Chillin, he goes with him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
They
it gets
adopt
clean.
him. Yeah.
Instead of loving the brown, he loves the blue because he becomes a swimmer.
My eyes are still a bit fuzzy.
None of that does happen, does it? All the money gets stolen.
By Chillin. He steals it, dies, overdose, and then what's the order of events after this? So he finds out the money is stolen. What does he do next?
He gets that job at is it a wedding?
Yes, but there's another job before that as well. The chicken beheading and feathering, which I found that quite uneasy to watch. Just children plucking feathers out and the chicken's head being chopped off, and just like that little girl, she's pretty young and she's just sat there like plucking feathers out.
I think you become accustomed to that kind of thing in a country like India. I expect there's a lot of preparing your own food, so that's what you've grown up with.
Yeah. Well, me being a white privileged man watching that, I felt very uneasy. Did not like it.
It's fine. Didn't bother me. It reminded me of certain pheasants.
What is hopefully becoming apparent by this point is that wasn't a story about Sat at all. It's something Gavin didn't do when he was younger. Sat wasn't even there. But in this made-up reality, you just like to drag other people in, don't you?
Yeah. Did you actually know that this film is based on Satinder's childhood in the mean streets of Wolverhampton?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did know is that Sat is in the film.
Is he?
Did you notice?
Yeah.
Made note that he plays the American tourist guy from New York who comes and buys drugs.
I didn't recognise him without a mask.
Neil Gettinger,
Oh.
I think his real name is. And he comes in and he buys drugs. That was Sat.
I didn't know that. I've never seen Sat without a mask, so I wouldn't know.
I suppose that's only going to be funny for people who have seen him without a mask, isn't it? I think it's apparent.
I think so.
Money gets stolen. Chicken job, then the wedding job that you alluded to earlier. Working at a wedding, they get a load of free food. He brings some of it home. He brings a load of samosas, and on the way home, they're walking back along the highway, and they get pulled over by the police. Just stopped.
Taken.
Yes. And for no crime that I could see, other than possible samosa theft. But
I don't think. I think it's just police want what they perceive as scum off the street. I think India, especially back then, I think still, to be honest, are notorious for their corrupt police force.
And they take Shapu in. I think he goes to a children's prison, and they take Manju into some kind of protective custody care thing. And it's in the prison where the whole prison's not a lot happens there, does it? He's just there for a bit and then he escapes.
Yeah,
does anything integral happen in there?
No, I think I think that's used just to show the kind of situation these kids get into, because there's one kid who's apparently been there for 3 years for just pissing on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just another way of showing how little the street kids are cared about. They're just brushed aside, there's no attempt to get them off the streets in a safe way, just literally locking them up. I think that's what that's used for.
Yes. But he does escape through the ladder covered with barbed wire. He climbs up that onto the roof, which, if you were running a prison, would you leave a ladder about, regardless of whether you wrapped a little tiny bit of barbed wire on it?
I think in places like that, I don't think too much care goes into that system.
And then after he's free, how does he get to Rika's house?
He's going to look for Manju, isn't he? Because he was with her and she got picked up by the police as well. So I assumed he went there in the hope of finding that, she got back okay.
Mm-hmm. But when he turns up, she's not there.
No.
Bubba is there, and so is Rika. They're having an argument on the stairs.
Yeah, because even though they've gone to get Manju and brought her back, the state decided that they're going to take Manju away.
Which we haven't actually discussed yet. Yeah. And see, this is another empathetic moment, I suppose. A child being taken away from a family. You get the impression the mother does care. I didn't think the dad did all that much. He does have that moment of a bond being shown when he does visit her, but the mother seems to care more. But you still can't really empathise with her too much because she has put her child in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, there's similar like characteristics with her and the dad, but hers are a lot more overt that she cares.
So Shapu goes back, sees the argument on the stairs. Baba and Rika are arguing. Baba's saying, "Oh, why don't you kill me?" Gives her a knife, chucks it down. Shapu sees the knife. What does he do with a knife?
He stabs Baba right in the back. Like a coward.
Yep, a little boy sticking up for a woman who against a man who's like big and powerful. What a coward!
He's literally backstabber.
Yeah. I felt the murder was a bit forced. I didn't feel Rika was in any real danger, was she? I don't think he acted out of...
I don't think it was there's a little bit of, the heat at the moment, but he's not the biggest fan of this guy. He's, despite everything with Chillum, I think he probably sees that it was overall Baba's fault. And the same with, he's friendly with Manju, and he's obviously seen that he's not a good father to her. So I think all of everything brings him to the old backstabbing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the moment of, the mother in danger. And you've got, he seems to regret it instantly. He's not happy about it. I mean, even the mother has a go at him, doesn't she, as well? Or has something to say to him about it?
I don't think so. They run off. They go into the crowds, get separated. And then you just get that final shot, long shot, drawing on his face as he's upset and then playing with that toy again. And then the film ends.
Ends with him, which was my original This Is England link, ends with him staring straight at the camera, which is how This Is England ends, which made me wonder if, especially with you bringing up all the natural non-actors being used, I wonder if Shane Meadows is a fan of this.
Not sure. But,
I know.
What did you think of the end?
I liked it. I like that I think it would have been a bit of a cop-out if he goes back home and everybody's like, yay, he's back. Yeah, what a good time. I missed you. Don't think that would have fit with the theme at all.
Yeah, it's hard to set up a family that cares so little that they'd say fuck off and then have him welcomed back at the end. Yeah, that wouldn't have made sense. I don't know how I would have ended it. I did feel it ended quite abruptly. I felt there are a few situations that aren't really resolved. The mother, literally, they're just in the crowd. They get separated and then never spoken of again. Names. I've made notes of some names, but not others. The little girl, what was her name? Manju. Not really explained what happens to her.
I don't think you need it. I mean, it's a shitty situation. It's a shitty place for kids, and I don't think in real life many got a happy ending or even an ending if it wasn't just them dying. So I don't think it'd be weird if everybody had some sort of resolution. Yeah. I mean, you've certainly got something with Manju because she's being taken into care. I mean, we don't know the care system in India or in this film, but we can hope that she's gone to a better place. Can't be too much worse, I suppose.
Well, final thoughts then. I'll go first. You usually go first. We have a lot of films lately that we're watching. We're definitely not watching entertaining, enjoyable movies. We're watching a lot of drama, a lot of serious slices of reality that could be effectively documentaries. Essentially, we're watching a slice of life, aren't we? We're watching, this is what it's like. It's eye-opening. It's
and dark side.
Dark side of things, yes. But I've always found these types of films quite hard to rate. My definition of an 8 out of 10 film is a film I don't think, before Come and See, I don't think I'd ever rated a film 8 or higher that I wouldn't want to watch again. Like 8 out of 10 for me is a film I could watch over and over. So that's watching so many films recently where I wouldn't really necessarily want to watch again, but they are good films, is really fucking with my whole rating system.
Never agreed with your weird rating system.
I don't know how you can give a film 8 or 9 out of 10 and then say, I wouldn't want to watch it again. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I do. I would watch them again. So, and even if it was something I wouldn't want to watch again, the fact that it's had an impact on me like that means it deserves a high rating. Isn't that what films are meant to do? In some way, move you, whether it's to laughter or to eye-openingness. That's a word.
Eye-openingness.
Yes.
I went to film school, and that was the first terminology that they actually taught us.
Eye-openingness.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So we had a talk. We had a guest presenter, and Shane Meadows came in. Actually, we brought him up earlier, and he taught us all about eye-openingness.
Very good.
So as a film, as a slice of life, as a fictional documentary, essentially, it's good. It does do that. It paints a picture of what it would be like to be a street kid in India. It seems very authentic. I think using actual street kids was good for the authenticity, and they were all quite good performers as well. All the performing was good, considering they'd never been in anything before. Story-wise, there's not much of one. No real resolution. No, you feel for Shapu and Sola and Manchu. Those are the three main empathetic sides. Baba, he was an arsehole, but he wasn't like a massive. I mean, he was a massive arsehole. Massive arsehole. But I wish he would have been a bit more. The scene with Chillum where he fires him, I wish hit him or cause some kind of violence. And the scene where he's on the stairs, he didn't ever seem like he was going to hit the woman Rika. I think he could have been dramatized a little bit more, but I suppose that's what they're going for, realism. They don't want to over dramatize these characters. They want them to be more real. I said I was going to go first, and that it wouldn't take long, and but I haven't made up my rating yet. I was hoping it would just kind of form as I spoke.
I'm trying to remember all the points I want to make now. You're taking so long.
Yeah. I'm going... I think this might be harsh, and upon further reflection, I might change it at a later date, but for now, I'm going 6. It feels harsh, because my negative aspects of the film, I feel, are what the filmmaker was going for. They want it to be realistic. They don't want these over-dramatized characters or a nice happy ending. I don't want a happy ending, but some kind of resolution, or there's not much of a story. It's just a slice of life. I'm going 6.
Okay, we got there. Very good. Right, well, me. So, yeah, I liked it a great deal, but I mean, it shits all over Slumdog Millionaire, which I was never a fan of. And thinking about it this time made me realise that I think Danny Boyle's a bit of an overrated director. He's made some right crap in his time. Yesterday. Ugh. Anyway, I like the depiction of street life here. I love the look of the film, just with Bombay in general. I don't think a lot needed to do. You just film in that location and it's interesting. But I do think the whole Street Kids has been done better in films, like obviously not in India, but City of God, and even something like Tigers Are Not Afraid, which obviously has more of a fantastic element to it, but I think it does the Street Kids angle a bit better. It kind of reminded me of, like I said, This Is England. It's like there's a lot of This Is England, or a lot of Salaam Bombay in This Is England. And actually it kind of reminded me of Come and See a little, with, you know, taking the perspective of one child in, because Chapu almost becomes like a witness to everything. He's just going about his life. Obviously a lot of shit's happening to him as well, but he's witnessing all of the crap along the way. I do think it's brought down by things like that. The fire just seems a strange scene, and the brick thing bothered me, to be honest. But it's great. The acting's great, obviously very natural, because they're not actors. I'm going to give it a 7. I think this kind of thing has been done better before, but it's solid. There's good stuff in there, a lot of talking points, and shows you, you know, a part of the world you don't usually see. I mean, even within Indian films, it's not usually this kind of darker side. So yeah, 7 out of 10. That's where I'm going.
Mine just stopped recording.
What was that? That's weird.
Mine just stopped recording and I don't know why. Hit record again.
I stopped again. Oh, your storage is full again.
Oops. We're going on for too long, that's why.
Oh yeah, hour 37.
There we go. Hi, how you doing? Right, so you fuck off. Right, so you said 7 out of 10. I've said 6 out of 10. Those added up together are 6.5 out of 10, which put what?
Those added up together.
What's your problem?
6 added up together with 7 isn't 6.5.
If you add them up together, it's 13, and the average of 13, i.e. 13 divided by 2, is 6.5.
Well, that's true, but you said add those together, 6.5.
13. Right. So 6.5 out of 10 is the average film rating, which puts it just above Rubber, somehow, Moon, and that's it. That's got 6.5 out of 10. So those 3 films have had 6.5 out of 10. We're going to set up a camera angle where maybe both of us are on camera at the same time, including this sexy man. Oh, fuck.
Got a bit of downstairs action as well. You love it.
We're going to set that up whilst you lovely folks at home check out Keir Mills. He's in my shed right now. We're going to cut to him now. Got another camera thing, don't worry about it. We're going to do that now. So, Gavin, I know I usually leave a cheer, but you're going to do a cheer just because I'm panicking. Give a cheer for Keir.
Yeah.
Salaam Bombay, or rather, Salaam Bombay.
Released in 1988, Salaam Bombay is the first film to be directed by Meera Nair, who would go on to direct Mississippi Masala and Monsoon Wedding. Okay, let's get it straight out the way. This is India's City of God. Or rather, City of God is Brazil's Salaam Bombay. There is no escaping the comparison. A story centred around street life in the back alleys and gutters. Organised crime, prostitution, drugs, poverty. Tick, 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 and a tick. Oh, what? What? Is Trainspotting Scotland's version of this? However, where City of God grabbed me by the throat from the off, Salaam Bombay takes a much more gentle approach into welcoming you into the world in which you're going to be trapped for the next 2 hours. We are first introduced to our hero, a young boy named Krishna, who is portrayed by real-life street kid Shafiq Syed, as he works on dismantling a circus. And we're soon to find out that's quite a metaphor. The movie is soundtracked by an opening score that is so undeniably 80s. I mean, it immediately sounds iconic. It preempted precisely what I thought I would hear from a movie portraying India in the 1980s. So much so that I'm almost astounded I haven't heard it before. It sounds like something that should play in an American movie in my mind, which features Michael Douglas arriving in Jaipur, clothed in a white suit and a Panama hat. The heat bouncing off the camera lens, adding a foggy shimmer to proceedings, as he attempts to meet up with his guide. But, of course, nobody speaks English, and he only knows one word in their language. So they just relentlessly shout prices for souvenirs at him. Whilst on the other side of the market, Kathleen Turner gets harassed by street kids and falls over her suitcase, ruining her perfectly coiffed hair. And Danny DeVito gets attacked by a lion. You can see it now, right? And in my mind, Hollywood has named this movie Jewel of the Nile. And for perfectly correct reasons, that idea was shelved. Bottom line, the score by L. Subramaniam is banging. After this intro, the movie quickly goes on to introduce a plethora of characters. Chilam, a drug pusher and an addict. Bubba, a local drug dealer who, for reasons unexplained, insists on speaking in the third person. Rika, a prostitute and Bubba's wife. Sola Sal, a pop star's name if ever I heard one. A young virgin recently sold to a brothel. Plus an array of street dwellers and sex workers. Now, although the desired effect here is surely for us to empathise with Krishna, as he is thrown into a confusing world full of a vast assemblage of characters and faces. Introducing so many people in such a short time does mean that we have to wait a while for everything to settle down. For all the relationships to be explained, and for any, coherent narrative or central storyline to emerge. In fact, I could argue that this doesn't fully happen until the death of one of the characters about 3/4 of the way into the movie. Now, that's not to say that there aren't moments to be captivated or intrigued by leading up to this point. There most certainly are. You got a house fire, you've got a robbery, you've got a rather volatile interview with a foreign journalist. Even a Michael Jackson baby dangling moment is rather bizarrely portrayed. In fact, to give this movie its credit, we should really be saying that Michael Jackson had a Salaam Bombay moment. It's just that all of these moments, until the home straight, seem to be completely independent of each other. And not in a Quentin Tarantino non-linear constructed type manner, more simply unstrung. The story arc is kind of inexplicit. No action appears to have an immediate cause or effect in relation to the movie as a whole. In fact, rather than a story arc, I would offer the generous metaphor that there's more of a heartbeat. The running time is punctuated by moments of life, which, at times, are not particularly enjoyable. All the performances are really very good, and the final quarter of the movie is immensely sobering. The detention centre, where the children are stuffed away together, hidden from society, out of sight, out of mind. It's truly fucking horrible. A symbol of the attitude that there is no problem if the problem can be hidden is perfectly encapsulated with the line, "Everyone forgets us." Apparently, Children should be neither seen nor heard. If a tree falls in a forest, eh? And the final shot is absolutely brilliant. A slow zoom on a dejected Krishna as he sits alone on a step. Nearly precisely where he began his story, with nothing to show for it apart from the emotional scars. This movie won a host of awards on its release and a nomination for Best Foreign Film at the Academy Awards. And it's easy to see why. However, I have to admit, I found it a little dull. Sometimes a really great film doesn't need to do much at all in order to grab your attention. It simply puts a world on screen and sucks you in. Cinema Paradiso, The Last Picture Show, The Straight Story. But sometimes clambering to show the rawness of real life can come across so earnest and weighty that it ceases to be entertaining in the classical sense. This Sporting Life, Poor Cow, and, say it quietly, Moonlight? I found Salaam Bombay in the majority to fall into the latter group. I mean, it is important, it is enlightening, it is powerful, it is educational, it is well directed and very well performed. But enjoyable? Entertaining? Rewatchable? Not really. Maybe I just like my world diluted of life. Maybe I was just not up for being shown quite how privileged my existence is. Maybe I'm wrong and this movie is absolutely vital. Or maybe I'm just really annoyed that 80s Michael Douglas didn't make an appearance. And honestly, yeah, well, I'd give you equal odds on any of them. Laters.
So that was Keir Mills. He brought up Krishna. He referred to Shapu as Krishna. That's the character of a little boy in the film, the main character. He has multiple names.
Ugh,
My dog is licking Gavin.
disgusting.
That's what he does if anyone licks him. Tara, you're watching. You recognise that face.
Yeah. So the kid's called Krishna. That's his actual name when he's at home. Does he give himself the name Chapu there? Because then he's also nicknamed Bumpkin.
Yeah.
Which is,
To the point where I wasn't sure what his name was, and I had to ask you when we were filming earlier, and you said Shapu in the moment. He's got loads of names. Krishna Shapu Bumpkin, that's his full name. That's a fact.
Bumpkin's a bit close to Blumpkin. Do you know what a Blumpkin is?
There's something similar to Blumpkin, Richard Herring.
Oh, I didn't get it from Richard Herring.
No.
But
What's the Richard Herring thing? It's a pumpkin being worn on someone's face and then a bukkake session where everyone jizzes on the pumpkin.
I've not heard that one, but no. A Blumpkin is when you sit on the toilet and you get a blowjob whilst having a poo. That's a Blumpkin.
Educational as well as shit.
It is shit, yeah.
I was calling the podcast. The podcast isn't shit. It's really good. Now we've got one camera angle. Anytime I'm talking rubbish, I haven't got anything to cut to. This has just got to all be one shot with no cuts.
That's
and
fine.
I'm calling the podcast shit. I'd usually cut that out.
Maybe you could dub over it. Great. Although that wouldn't make any sense what we're saying now.
Yeah, we've kind of entered into a problem.
No. Maxwell.
But other things Keir brought up, he's mentioned a lot of the things I was saying, not issues with the film, but reasons why you can't rate it as high as, like, it's got an average rating on IMDb of 8 out of 10. As Keir stated, it's received many awards, been nominated for even more awards. It's a loved film. A lot of people love it, but it feels lacking something. Like Come and See had all of these important factors, slice of life, etc. But it was done in a more cinematically enjoyable way. This felt lacking, which is why I gave it a 6. But
Well, I mean, I'm only one above you, but it's odd. I do feel 6 is harsh, even though I'm only one above it.
even when I said 6, I felt like it was harsh. But I just think if you compare it to Come and See, which I mention a lot, if you haven't seen Come and See, go watch Come and See, and then watch the episode we did on Come and See, and do the whole like and subscribe thing on that one, on this one, and even if you don't watch them, just go click through, like, because then Gavin will suck you off. That's what he did to me when I clicked like on them.
Grumpy cat likes KKK. Grumpy cat likes genocide. Grumpy cat likes drunken hobos. Grumpy cat likes
Nobody.
What do you... Should we pick next week's film?
Go on then.
All right. I've got a... All right, I'll put this up. Are you going to pick a number?
What
for
am
me?
I?
I think we've got 37 entries. 37 entries.
12.
Said entries a lot. 12? It's not 12, is it? Can you see?
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that? 30.
Yes, which is Warren Winter's pick of The Wolf of Wall Street. So that will be our next film.
I've heard of it.
As soon as we cut this camera off, you're being punished. Bye!
This is the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. Watch films with